Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Trap Draw podcast. My name is Randy. We have convened a Seamsters union meeting, which means I'm joined by my two associates, Chris Solomon, DJ Piehowski. Chris, good afternoon. I should say this is a big afternoon. We are
Huge.
recording right as Reds Brewers are getting set with the rubber match. I'm sure we'll all be keeping an eye on what's going on at Great American Ballpark. But Chris, thanks for joining us. How are you?
They tried to cheat us last night, Randy. They tried so hard. Emilio Pagan painted the corner with a splitter to end the game, called a ball. Ellie error. Jake Bowers tries to hit one out of the ballpark and to tie the game, and TJ Friedel robbed it to bring it back. Ball don't lie, bitch.
Totally.
DJ, your response?
Yeah, no, snapping the 8-game winning streak, I think to get the Reds, to 5 games under 500, that could change everything, man. That could be the start of a run.
Two, thank you. Two.
Yeah.
DJ's texting us, the announcers are jizzing themselves on Peralta's stuff on the radio tonight.
I would never use that word. I would never
lose
never
to
say
one of
that.
the worst teams
Crass.
ever. Taste it. You don't understand. You can't bring us down either. Like we're just a spoiler role.
We're
Like
dead.
I'm not even bringing it up. You guys are the ones spiking the football.
I'm just
Leon
enjoying
Lett here.
playing spoiler here. That's all we have.
Yeah. No, congratulations, man. Amazing.
That was the 62nd game of the season, if I'm not mistaken, at least for the Redlegs, which means 100 left. More importantly, guys, we are past Memorial Day. I finally have taken a peek at the standings. There are some surprises. We're going to get into that. We got some fun. We're going to check in on it, just if we have some differing opinions on any players, guys we think who have either demonstrated a real leap, a real decline. What kind of conclusions can we draw after 2+ months of the season? We'll get into that. We got a bad contract, maybe a couple bad contracts to discuss. And then in the back half of the episode, we are going to, the three of us were up in Milwaukee the other week. We filmed for lack of a better term, kind of a city tour video. You've seen us do this with Denver and Brooklyn, and where you have one out now with Las Vegas. We're trying to do this somewhat new format. And so Solly, myself, joined DJ in his hometown in Milwaukee. We went to a Brewers game. We're going to get into that trip. So it's very baseball related. So we thought it would be good to park that on the back end of this episode. So guys, before we dive into what is a robust agenda, I want to thank our title sponsor, ServPro. You guys know ServPro. It's the #1 brand in cleanup and restoration. They're known for making any mess like it never even happened. With over 2,200 locations nationwide, they're faster to any size disaster. And I want to revisit, I just want to give us all an opportunity to, are there any takes you'd like back? Are there any takes that you would like to make like they never even happened from our season preview podcast? And I don't know if anybody's brave enough to raise their hand and go first here.
I just don't know if we missed anything. That's kind of the only issue.
That is always a concern, right? That we might be too good.
Sully,
Yeah.
what do you think? You want to lead it off?
I mean, how much time does ServPro have purchased up in this location? Because I could go for a while. That was not the best preseason performance from your boy. Listen, the Yankees might be a little better than we gave them credit for. I think we'll probably dig into that one a little bit. Braves stink.
I'll jump on that one with you, Sully. Yeah. I think our I believe we both picked them as a World Series without the Dodgers type of pick. And as we sit here and they're 4 games under just after Memorial Day, that doesn't feel great getting a couple pieces back. But I didn't realize that our guy Jurickson Profar was a cheater. That's tough. That was not in our models. But they don't quite look like they're beating down the GD door right now. But I'll apologize for that one.
Yeah, 2 teams that showed us who they were in 2024, and we nominated as bounce backs, the Rangers and the Braves. There's none of that going on. That's a tough one. Tigers, I feel like I'm going to get dunked on for that one.
They're fun.
I'll take that one.
We warned you they were fun.
I'm not apologizing for shit for the Cardinals. Maybe a little bit, but not in the way that you think I might. But I had a lot of bad takes that came from the season preview. We're early. There's some that I'm still like, oh, just let that one play out. We're going to be fine there. And there's some that I'm like, all right, that was awful in that one.
The one that sticks out to me was, I specifically remember talking about the Yankees and Aaron Judge and like, no way this guy that was a career year. No way he's going to have a year like that again. It's a
He's
better
going to do this
year
for the
so
7th
far.
year in a row.
I know.
Honestly, that was a totally fair and fine take, Randy. I wouldn't regret that if I was you. That's a very unlikely situation. He's having like the best year in Major League history.
He has a 248 OPS plus at the time of recording. Last year, he finished the year with a 225 OPS plus, 21 home runs. He's hitting 387. He's got a 485 on base percentage. Like, truly, he's nearing Barry Bonds territory. It's incredible. Listen, he's 33 years old. I don't know how he's doing it, but he is doing it. And for that, I offer a mea culpa because I did not see this coming.
Just to clarify here, Randy, when Bonds was 37 years old, peak height of steroids, he hit 370. That's the highest he ever hit in a year. I know you're a big batting average guy. Not facing this era of 94-mile-an-hour splinkers on repeat, like Judge is hitting 387 2 months into the year. 387.
It doesn't make sense. He's leading the league in hits. How? It's stupid.
He leads in average on-base slugging, isolated slugging, batting average and balls in play, weighted runs created plus, of course, WAR. He has over 1.3 WAR, more than the next guy.
What is he at now? Like 5 or 6 already?
5.1, yeah.
God.
Is it fair? I mean, listen, I'm just going to say it. It might not be fair, but do anybody else's spidey senses going off here? I mean, fool me like 18 times. I feel like shame on me when like this just doesn't seem. I don't know. Maybe Aaron Judge is this good, but gosh, there was a leap that he took in his career when he hit age 30, and he was very good before that. Don't get me wrong, but I just these are silly. I don't know. It's hard not to be a bit cynical in looking at numbers like this.
Are you saying
we
got needle stuff or just like sign stealing or what do we? I'm down for a good sign stealing theory.
Either, both, something I don't even know about. Like I don't know. I just
sort of Robert Johnson deal with the devil type of situation they can't even test for. Who knows?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'm just, man, I don't know. Ever since my guy Floyd Landis got popped, my uncle Floyd, I've just been jaded. It's hard. I don't know. That's just the lens I view baseball through. I guess that's being a product of, having lived through the great home run chase in '98 and the Barry Bonds stuff, all of that.
It really loved Randy. We got to take in some batting practice when we went to the game the other day, and Randy's like, man, I don't think I've been to a batting practice since like 98, 99. Just like, oh my God, the Cardinals are coming through Cincinnati. We got to get there for McGuire's BP. That was a very fun visual that I enjoyed.
Appointment viewing. You knew we had to get down there for Big Mac. God, he was making Riverfront Stadium look small. Anyway, anybody, we good on mea culpa? Should we keep it moving there?
I mean, it'll be kind of a theme throughout the course of as we catch up on a lot of this stuff, I think.
Well, thank you to ServPro. If you are in need of making a mess disappear, making it like it never even happened, visit servpro.com or call 1-800-ServPro today.
Randy, all right, boys. Just a real quick bit of pain. I just looked this up. The Reds drafted 5 spots in front of the 32nd pick in 2013 when the Yankees selected Aaron Judge. Do you remember who they selected in 2013 draft?
2013. This would have been, God, was this one of the shitty pitchers they took? Maybe
no.
Who was 2013?
Probably wouldn't.
Was it Stevenson?
It was Philip Ervin. Who had a very quick cup of coffee and did not. I forgot Judge's.
It was probably a coin flip there between those two.
Listen, you're hunting for an outfield bat. It's Philip Ervin. It's Aaron Judge. You win some, you lose some.
I know I'd heard this floated, but I haven't really thought this all the way through. That Aaron Judge is a compensation pick for the Guardians signing Nick Swisher. Like that's how they ended up getting Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Nick Swisher's Neil's guy. Loves those tequila commercials he's in.
I think he could be Solly's boy too. Wasn't he an Ohio State guy? Didn't he spend time in Columbus?
Something about that. That sounds right.
All right, boys, your standings up to the second. Let's spin through the standings and a few things to talk about here. We're going to start on the senior circuit, the National League. We have a good race brewing out east between the New York Mets and the Phillies. As of recording, this is Wednesday morning. The Mets hold a half-game lead. Further back in the standings, you have the Nationals, the Braves, and the Marlins. I guess my question for discussion, boys, Mets, Phillies, is there a team that you like more than the other? How are we handicapping this race?
We were talking a little before we started recording. It was like, yeah, we kind of you can get a good view of the landscape going into the season. Once the season starts, it's a little hard to keep up with all the ups and downs and ins and outs of a lot of the different teams. I know the Mets obviously started with a ridiculously good starting pitching run to start the year. I'm just getting word here as I go to look this up as how well has that still continued? Falling back to earth a little bit, but it's been the pitching that's got him this far. I weirdly like I'm so I don't want to say meh on like the core in Philadelphia right now, but I'm kind of meh on it. And knowing Juan Soto has hit the ball plenty hard.
You're talking about the
Polo.
bats.
Well, now I'm switching over to the bats.
Yeah.
Juan Soto's hit the ball harder than the production that he's gotten out of it. Tried to sneak in a little trade with our guy Polo to see if he was willing to sell. He was not willing to sell. He's all over it. So like Soto, the Mets have had this good of a start without Soto doing what we know he's going to do. Has me more pro Mets at this point.
I think that's fair, and you're totally right that like it's fun coming into a season preview because you've been following hot stove stuff all off season and who added what, and you have a better picture. And now it's like I just kind of watch my team every day. I don't, and so I'm like, I don't know. The Brewers kicked the shit out of the Phillies. Swept them at home last week. These guys stink. But you're right. Like the pitching has been really really solid. I think kind of coming into the season, it was a little bit of like, is that core kind of sort of maybe starting to age just a hair? I think Trey Turner's kind of picked it back up a little bit, and I know Bryce has been out for a little while, but I don't know, I just fucking hate the Mets, which I feel like I say every time. So I'm gonna take the Phillies out of just pure
Hate them like you
likability.
don't like the team, or just hate what they're doing, hate how they're built.
I just don't like the team. I just don't like the team. I'm just out on the Mets.
Well, some scar tissue from last year. I don't know. That's got to play into it there,
Yeah, and
Deej.
I don't love painting themselves as kind of the plucky Mets and then having, like, Scrooge McDuck take over the team and just
Sure.
but it's just, no thanks. I do like their broadcast. I don't know if you guys have seen, the guy, the director of their broadcast, I forget his name, has been getting a lot of run about the way he produces some of the, like, crazy movie-like shots that he works in. I have actually been watching some of their, especially if they're playing on the West Coast or something, and it is fun to watch, but, yeah, I'll take the Phillies in that heads up.
Francisco Lindor has been really good for the Mets. I do like the Phillies pitching better. I'm like you guys. I like the bats of the Mets. I think as a group better, a little bit better than the Phillies. I think that's going to be a good race. I'll probably default to Phillies just have a lot of experience, when we start talking about the intangibles and the stuff that Solly hates, I probably lean Philadelphia in that category. I think the more interesting thing, we talked about the Braves and how they've certainly been disappointing. We've all kind of missed here. Do they have a chance? Are they just playing? It seems like they're just playing for a wild card at this point. I still think they could be a dangerous wild card team just with the way their pitching could line up. And, if Acuna comes in hot and healthy, gosh, that's such a weird franchise. I'm almost starting to wonder, like, are they thinking about like a managerial change? I don't quite know what's going on down in Atlanta.
If
I'm
you're
with you on
asking
the
about Acuna's strikeout rate, it's up to 31% so far, just as we're monitoring that as the years go on.
let's watch this space. I'm with you, Big. I think that I don't know if we're trying to be stone cold sober here from a wild card perspective, like what feels more likely, the Braves get it together, or the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Reds kind of hang around and steal one of those. Like I think it's obviously the Braves, but I don't know if you guys disagree.
Amongst the teams you named, no, I don't disagree. But I mean, what's the wild card right now is Philly, Padres, Cardinals, and then the Braves are 5.5 back of the wild card.
Yeah.
A lot of teams in between. Diamondbacks still in the mix there. Like, you taking the Giants or the Braves right now? Like, I think I'm taking the Giants.
And you hate the Giants too.
I know, right? That's got to mean something.
Yeah.
Something
I
stinky
don't know.
about the Braves. I don't know what it is. I don't think Acuna can save them.
What if
It
we get
just
4 out of the
feels-
West? That'd be wild.
It just feels stale. Anything to mention? Do you guys want to call it anything? Either the Nationals or the Marlins? I don't have a ton for either team. I
There's nothing in my notebook, Big, but if I think of something, I'll certainly surface
Okay.
it.
Nats have been a little better than expected, and I mean, James Wood has taken a very quick leap. I mean, obviously he was one of the top prospects in baseball, and there was a lot of expectations leaped on him, but he's already hit 16 home runs. He's just absolutely crushing the ball the other way. They've weirdly got a fair amount of bats that are producing at a better than league average level, which is a little bit surprising, but they're still a bad defensive team. And I still think they're just kind of weird random pieces, and I'm not seeing them threaten anything anytime soon. Dylan Cruz has been very meh so far as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the NL Central. The Chicago Cubs, the baby Bears, are one of the stories of the season so far. They lead by 5 games over the Cardinals, 6 games over the Brewers, 9 games over the Reds, and 16.5 games over the Pirates. I think the Cubs are causing a bit of internal disagreement amongst the Seamsters. There's a very bullish case led by Mr. Chris Solomon. I don't think I could be more bearish on the Cubs.
I don't get
Chris,
this at all.
Yeah, I'll give you the floor. Why don't you present your case, and then I'll make the rebuttal.
I mean, I don't have to present much of a case. They started the year in Tokyo, got crushed by the Dodgers, had to go straight to Arizona from there, then go to the Padres, then had to go play in a minor league park to start the year. They had the hardest schedule of any team to start the year, and they were like 35 games over 500 in that stretch.
Can I read off their opponents to start the season here?
Sure.
Dodgers, please. Diamondbacks, our beloved Athletics. Then we go to the Padres. We go to Texas at home. At the Dodgers, at the Padres again. More for the Diamondbacks, more for the Dodgers. Then we got the Phillies, and then a couple of the Pirates, Brewers. Then we play the Giants. Then we play the Mets. Like, it's been a bloodbath of a schedule, and they're one of the best teams in baseball. So Big, I'm really interested to hear the counter argument is much more appealing to me.
So I've watched 6 games against the Reds the last couple weeks. It's about the extent of my viewing right now, and I just have to say the pitching sucks for the Cubs. I don't trust the pitching. I mean, the Reds beat up on the starters 4 out of those 6 games. Colin Ray looked, I like you're counting on. I don't know who they're counting on to lead this rotation. It's not a rotation. It's not a staff that's going to take you deep into October by any means. I understand, like, they have to add at the deadline if they're serious, which puts all the onus on the bats. And have the bats been good? Yeah, the bats have been good. Do I trust the bats to continue to be good? I don't think so. I think we've seen an offense playing over its head. Pete Crow Armstrong, to his credit, seems to have taken a leap. He does not walk. He strikes out a bunch. I just don't necessarily think he's going to continue on the pace that he's on. Kyle Tucker's a good hitter. That he's been a great pickup. I respect that. Solly, I think DJ was all over that on the season preview, how big of an ad that one is. But then you get into their catching position. Carson Kelly's having a career year. That's not going to continue. Seiya Suzuki's playing over his head. We've seen enough of Seiya Suzuki.
He does this every year. It's not over his head.
No, he's not this good. The
Don't
strikeout
make me
rate's
talk positive about the Cubs like this.
I know. That's why I almost feel like he's doing 3D chess or something to get us a bunch of positive Cubs stuff on the record that he could use against us later.
Yeah,
that's the only way it makes sense.
No, I don't trust anything about this club. And then you're getting guys like Michael Bush and Nico Horner and Ian Happ. They're just fine. They're meh. They're fine. They're not guys that I would say should be anchoring the best offense, one of the best offenses in baseball. I'm not buying any of it. The pitching sucks. I think they're in for a regression.
Here's if I'm trying to suss out where we can meet you here, Big, in the middle, and I think that there's a case to be made. Like, do you think they're going to win the division? Like, is the because
I think they
that
have a
feels
chance. I think they have
pretty.
a
Shit.
Have a
I think they have a
good
pretty good
chance.
shot, but I don't think they're runaway. I'm not marking them in pen right now by any means. No way.
Hmm. They look.
Who else can win the division?
That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
I think anybody can win the division. I think that's what's fun about the Central right now.
God, I wish I had your.
I know that
your
seems like a really
worldview.
fun way to watch the rest of the season. I do. I am envious of that. I think they're the division champs. I think we're looking at the division champs, and where I'm kind of maybe willing to meet you is like I don't know if I don't know if they're run away to like knock down some of these big dogs in the playoffs. That's where I can see the pitching stuff catching up, and it could be a like win 94 games and get swept in the first round. I would be willing to talk about that, but I just want to make sure we're having the same conversation.
Yeah. And do I think they're built to like go up toe to toe with the Dodgers in the playoffs and the team in the NLS? No. I think they're far and away the best team in the NL Central and better than I thought they would be. Yeah. I mean, the offense is really, really good. The underlying numbers back it up, Big. I know you don't like this stuff, but expected weighted on base, they're fourth in all of Major League Baseball. So it's not to say like they just had some bad ball luck so far and the bloops are falling in.
They're
Bloops did fall
hackers.
in.
They're
not.
hackers.
Crow Armstrong is a G. He's really good. Tucker, we've been through it. Seiya Suzuki is such an underrated hitter. I could tell by the way you talk about him. Completely unfair. Such good defense up the middle between Crow Armstrong, Swanson, and Nico Horner. Like that's a really, really, really strong combination. They're getting production out of Bush on the corners. I don't know what more you could want out of them. I mean, a bad health run could maybe be it. And I do want to like. I think we floated. We talked
slugging 552 this year. That's way higher than we've seen at Suzuki. It just, I think they're getting a ton of production from guys. They've had a great start to the season. I'm not buying it over at 162.
Okay.
And if I may present another piece of evidence, currently, a lot ballyhooed, toughest schedule. Yeah. Against teams currently over 500, the Cubs are 12-13. That's fine. The Reds against teams currently over 500 are 16-18. So the Reds have actually played more teams currently over 500 than the Cubs have.
But the Reds have helped boost those teams to be over 500 by losing so many games.
They're 16-18. 16-18. 2 games under 500.
I respect this take,
Big,
and
under.
I obviously am rooting for it. That should be read into the record as well. It's like I hope that you're right.
It's a lineup that just doesn't give you breaks either. Like, finally relax. Like Ian Happ, like he's a league average hitter. Dansby Swanson's a league average hitter. Still like has the ability to do. I don't know, man. It's tough. And like you said, they're going to add. And I just think that I'm at a crossroads of like trying to figure out this rotation thing. Like there's just way too many times last year we said, Brewers don't have the rotation. The Guardians don't have the rotation. They're going to fall off. And I'm at a point where I'm not positive how much that matters as much as it used to. Like I think like in the playoffs, agree.
Yeah, that's the whole thing,
yes.
right? Like in the regular season. Yeah.
It just is. If you're not with the way pitch modeling works today, the gap between really, really good pitchers and just like solid pitchers is not as big as maybe it once was. Like you can not grab a guy off the street, but you can somewhat grab a guy and say, don't throw this pitch anymore. Just throw these 3 pitches and then add this and you'll probably be pretty good. Is a way to get through hitters. But if you don't have the bats, there's just no hope. Like there's just absolutely no hope. So give me the teams with the bats that can figure out the pitching stuff later. And that's where I'm drawn at this point.
Yeah. God, I just don't trust the bats. I just don't trust the bats. I mean, you look at the infield, Carson Kelly, Matt Shaw at third, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Matt Bush. You cannot tell me that's like part of the best offense in baseball. I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
But again, I think we're maybe closer together than it sounds, but like Big, just go read some of those lineups in the NL Central.
And what's that like about Michael Bush?
You think Michael Bush is a weak link? You want to talk about like Joey Ortiz and Espinal and some of the guy who's the guy that you didn't even know played for the team the other night? It's like there's
Hampson.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I will give you that.
Are we comparing him to the Dodgers or are we comparing him to the rest of the division? I guess that would be my clarifying.
And this isn't small sample size stuff. Like Kyle Tucker, Michael Bush, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki have 269, 210, 254, 251 plate appearances. weighted runs created plus 155, 152, 143, 141. Like that's so many plate appearances with so much good production.
I think Michael Busch is super underrated.
It's tough. And he walks a ton too. It's just tough.
Okay,
Big,
well, let's
for you,
move
though,
on.
man. I want to be there with you. Cubs
you gotta
fans,
call
let
it
us
like
know how you
We're
feel.
gonna
call it
monitor
like
it.
you see
Cubs
it.
fan, let us know. Let us know. Drop us a line in the comments if I'm off base here. We'll continue to monitor. I just want to flag.
I just think you need take the energy
I
you're
think
giving
this
to the
is
Cubs.
top of the market. Listen, if the Cubs are a stock, I am selling. I am harvesting gains here with this Cubs.
Well, can I convince you to just take what you're saying and just move that to the next team on the agenda? Because that's where I think you should be investing a lot of your
Los
spiritual
Cardinals.
stock.
You hate Los Cardinals, don't you?
I hate the franchise in general. Yes, I think that team is overperforming at this point. I mean, they've won a bunch of games, which just did not see happening. I think we kind of all thought they were going to somewhat tank this year and start selling off. They're 33-27.
Let me read into the record. Their over under to start the year was 75.5 wins. DJ and I took the over, and I think somewhat on the theory of, listen, the Cardinals as a franchise, they practice the dark arts, and I got to see it to believe it. If I am to believe that the franchise is truly bottoming out. I don't know what it is, but they just have an ability to play good baseball. And I hate it.
Yeah, if you talk about overperforming, Brendan Donovan's just been performing at a ridiculous level that I don't think
The
is
guy that looks like
sustainable.
Wayne Grow from Heat. You know who I'm talking about? Kind of the
Could
long
be.
blonde hair.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't like I don't like their team. I still
Wanger.
don't. And I want to point out this team is 33-27, and their fans were protesting the team this year. And all of a sudden, the attendance is back up, and everybody's like, "Wow, what a vibe in the ballpark!"
They sent the
Amazing.
message, man. They
The
voted with
most
their
fair
wallet.
weather group of people I've ever come across in any sport, any team, any city. It's the absolute worst. So there will be no apology from me towards the Cardinals. Do I think they're going to go under 75.5? I'm going to sweat that one out a little bit. I don't feel confident on that one, but I will apologize for the Yankees taking this point. I'm not going to apologize to the Cardinals yet. I think the Cardinals are in for some hurt at some point. Just hasn't hit them yet.
I think we're lockstep, Sully. There's a lot of the the expected ERA type of stuff that like they're massively overperforming, which listen, so are the Brewers. So who knows what's going to happen there? But I don't know. There may have been too much pressure on them when the stadium was full because they're beating it up at home this year, 19-9. Games at home. So maybe if the fans come back, maybe that's what's going to lead to the regression. Maybe they'll be too nervous.
Yeah.
What's the material difference between a Brendan Donovan and like anybody on the Cubs outside of like Kyle Tucker and Pete Crow Armstrong? Like why don't you think what he's doing is legitimate?
I mean, if I just look at it very, very quickly, he is running a 350 batting average on balls in play. He's expected to go about 313 for the remainder of the season. He's literally overperforming on balls that have been hit in play so far. He's a good hitter. He's a nice player. He's racked up 2 wins so far, but the rest of the way for the remaining 89 games should be less than 2 wins is what's projected out. I just think he's overdoing it just a little bit. We've never seen this level out of him.
Okay. All right.
It's just an example. They got crazy production from Ivan Herrera so far. He's been hurt, I know, on and off, but he's just been ridiculous compared to, I guess he was pretty good last year, but he's not a 171 WRC plus bat. That's just not happening. Bring him back down to 130 and we could talk, but he's not this good.
The Cardinals have 2 better pitchers, I think Sonny Gray and Matthew Liberatore, than the Cubs do. I don't want to ignore that side of the equation. All right, we'll keep moving. I don't think the Cardinals are completely fluke, I guess. Deej, the Brewers, how are we feeling about the Crew at this moment?
It's kind of whiplash, man. It's a lot of I hate this team, I love this team sort of vibes every night. Obviously just coming off an 8-game winning streak, like I said, so the vibes are high. I don't really know how they're doing that. If I had to kind of put it down on paper, I don't really know how I'd draw the roadmap to success other than all the cliches of kind of a couple hits at the right time, just enough offense and pitching that just keeps them in every game, pretty much. Some guys coming back from injury. Quintana's overperformed. Woodruff was supposed to come back on Sunday and just got drilled by a line drive in his right arm in his final rehab start. That's tough. Quinn Priester has been serviceable. Freddie's been really good. Yelich is back in a big way. I heard a caller, Big Randy from the East Side, on a local sports radio the other day, talking about how that walk-off grand slam could have been, the way back for Yelich. That's proving to be true. But the whole left side of the infield, the whole left side of the ballpark really is really tough. Joey Ortiz and Caleb Durbin, I don't think those are your long-term October answers necessarily at the plate. Isaac Collins filling in for some injuries, still missing Garrett Mitchell and Blake Perkins, and it's just been kind of weird. But they've been holding serve, I would say, and to be over 500 at this point feels like a minor miracle. Bullpen has been very, very, very solid. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like, I'm trying not to I don't want to sound too homerism by painting too much optimism here. Like I don't know that we're destined for 95 wins and running through the first couple rounds of the playoffs. It doesn't quite feel that way. But to your point earlier,
you got a shot at the division? You think you got
I think there's a shot. I think it's worth watching the games. Absolutely. Especially, with their ability to kind of just hang around in every game. They don't get blown out a lot. It's pretty competitive every night. And so when that's the case, it does feel like you always have a chance.
Solly, the way DJ talked about the Brewers, how much of that resonates with your thinking about the Reds?
I mean, he's higher on the Reds than I think or on the Brewers than I think I am on the Reds. I think it.
Do you think the Reds have a shot to win the division?
I do not.
Or are you saying no shot?
No shot. No shot.
Okay.
Like it's bad, man.
I'm just
all
not,
right.
Okay, I'm just not seeing the level of pessimism that I think you have.
It's super hard for me. Very, very, very hard for me to get behind like a franchise's direction when for the last month and a half, and maybe it finally just stopped. Tito Francona, the big splash move of the offseason. Instead of getting better players, we're going to get a better manager. The manager is going to help us win on the margins. These one-run games that they're leaving out there on the field. Like we're going to prepare better. We're going to be a better team. We're going to hold each other accountable. Here's how we're going to do this. And we're going to, this team we thought should have been better in 2024. We're going to pick back up on those margins and be more competitive in 2025. This same manager will take, literally, not making this up, over the last 2 seasons, the worst hitter in baseball against right-handed pitching and bat him second against right-handed pitching. The spot where like the Mets are putting Juan Soto, the spot where the Yankees are putting Aaron, the spot where every team is putting their best hitter. We are taking the worst in Major League Baseball and plopping him right in this key spot against right-handed pitching. Is like this is not the sole reason to blame for their shortcomings so far this year, but it's really, really hard to get behind like this spirit of this is going to turn around when you have somebody running this straight into the ground like this. And in these same scenarios, refusing to pinch hit for this hitter in late game situations when it's right on right and you have 2 left-handed batters on the bench, one of whom was the NL Player of the Week the week before, one of whom you traded a 3rd-round pick and a compensatory pick with Gavin Lux sitting on the bench to face a right-handed pitcher, and you left him on the bench against Pittsburgh to watch that guy ground into a double play. It is infuriating.
Who are we talking about? Are you going to name names here?
Santiago Espinal is who we're naming.
Sully hates Santiago Espinal.
I don't hate Santiago Espinal. I hate how they're using him. He's a totally fine 9-hole hitter as a backup infielder. Now, Marte's been hurt. He's had to play every day, but you do not have to bat him second. And it's so wild how often that comes into fruition and effect in late-game situations. And in early game situations, he bats him right in front of Elly De La Cruz, and Elly leads the league in plate appearances this year with 2 outs and nobody on. Like it's such a joke. So all that to say, like, if you're not gonna be a team that spends money, you have to be smart. I mean, all teams have to be smart, but you have to like run your franchise like a smart small market franchise. You have to be efficient. And if you're not going to do that, then like honestly, why would I like where would my why any faith was coming from a totally made up place. Like my actual brain will not let me have faith in this level of approach. They don't have enough good players. Matt McClain has fallen off in such a fashion that I could have never even imagined.
He
Ellie's
might bounce back.
he might, but like, man, it just
I'm not writing him off.
why are you more
Steer.
optimistic than this? What do you like? What
I think there are several holes offensively. I totally agree with that. Matt McClain not being good this year has been a real blow. Christian Encarnacion Strand, I think they counted on. He's been hurt and he's not been good. That's been really tough.
There's so many guys that are almost in -1 WAR on this team.
Noelvi
right?
Marte
Candelario
had busted out and then he got hurt, so that's been tough. But the thing we haven't talked about, the Reds have, in at least the NL Central wise, by far the best pitching. They're over 3 WAR better than the Cubs, Cardinals, or Brewers. So I think my reason for optimism is they have a legitimate good pitching staff. I think they have a top of the rotation starter in Hunter Green. Andrew Abbott's been phenomenal. Nick Lodolo's healthy, pitching really well. And as far as 4 and 5 starters go, Nick Martinez and Brady Singer are very serviceable. So I think the Reds' true advantage is the pitching side of it. And my hope, I don't know if it'll come to fruition, but Christian Encarnacion Strand's healthy, about to rejoin the big league club. Matt McClain, he missed all last year. I'm going to be a little patient with him. I think I trust more in a bit of an offense getting better than I do that the pitching side of things has been a mirage. And I think if you do have pitching, God, that goes a long way. They're going to be in a lot of ball games. And I wouldn't put it past them. I still think they can win 85 games and maybe grab a wild card, if not the division when the Cubs start coming back to earth.
Jeez.
They got rid of stinky Alexis Diaz. That's got to help.
They traded away Diaz.
They got Chase Burns waiting in the wings.
Well, that's another thing,
An
Randy.
absolute hammer arm.
Hunter Green just hit the IL today. What do? All right, time for Chase Burns, who was like the best pitching prospect in baseball. He's got to come up. He's been absolutely shredding through the minors. Sure, it's time. No, they went and signed Wade fucking Miley, who had a 6 ERA in AAA, and they're going to do this whole – they're wasting money on this, and they're going to do this whole experiment. Coming off Tommy John, he's like 38 years old. How do we think that's going to go? Like,
play back some of your comments from earlier this season about how stoked you were to have Wade Miley, quote, in the organization.
That, yes, but not mostly to get him out of the Brewers organization.
Pitching.
But no, I don't need him throwing. I don't need him spending actual money on him. But I don't disagree on the pitching front. I'm worried about the bullpen. I don't think the bullpen's good. I think they've overperformed to this point in the year. And when the Cubs rolled into town, they got absolutely shellacked and dismissed off the property. But
Santillan has the harshest goatee I've ever seen in my entire life.
He does. They're going to run him into the ground. They use him every day.
Player. Yeah.
Really enjoyed seeing him trot out of the bullpen last night.
I do think they need to start churning some bullpen arms. I agree with you there, Solly.
So this stat came from Matt Trigaglia the other night. The Reds are 0-23 when trailing after 6 innings. 0-25 when trailing after 7. 0-26 when trailing after 8. They have 0 come from behind wins in the second half of any single game this year. 0-5 in extra innings. So they like truly. If I asked trivia,
the margins aren't looking great.
Don't you think though? That's due. I mean, that's silly bad. They have to regress to a more normal level and all of that.
This is my favorite of all of them. What do you in the baseball reference stat called late and close? Basically, like 1-run games are close or tied late in the game, or at least the tying run on deck. Late and close. What do you think their OPS plus is in late and close situations?
Oh, it's got to be starting with like a 5. Yeah,
46. Like they're so unbelievable.
Taking the big hit.
Get the big hit.
Again, if they're a stock, I see a ton of value here. I'm bullish Reds. I'm bearish Cubs.
I think
that's like some Robin Hood reckless investing. Big, like you need to have an adult step in and take your debit card away. Like you should be able to make these investments from your phone. That's how you wind up just really decimating yourself later in life. It's just not how we're growing net worth, man. I'm nervous for this investment.
8 straight series where they've lost the opening game. They haven't
Like,
won
that
a
simply can't continue. This
but it
stuff's
continues
all
What if it
38.
does?
well, if it does, it's sick. I will be the first to admit, but these numbers are just goofy.
Silly stuff.
It's really bad. I will say this: be prepared. Nick Lodolo is getting traded this summer. I think before the deadline, Nick Lodolo is going to be on the move. Wouldn't surprise me if Nick Martinez was on the move as well. They just went down 1-0 as well, as they guaranteed to lose getaway day like they do every single fucking time.
Anything you want to say on the
bad,
Pirates
Randy.
and your boy Skeens?
He's 4-6 with a 2 ERA. I think I saw as of this morning. Yeah. I mean, it's just really, really tough, dude.
Hostage situation.
Yeah, we might need to free him.
That's the positive thing I'll say about the Reds, Randy. At least we're not the Pirates. It's getting bleaker and bleaker by the day there. Do you think they should explore trading him?
No, not well. I don't think anything matters. The Pirates are going to pirate. The ownership sucks. I don't think anything matters there. So I guess, but like, okay, you get back a haul of prospects. Like, what's that going to do for you? You know,
At least now you're selling tickets every 5 days.
If I'm a Pirates fan, yeah, I'd rather watch Paul Skeens, I guess, at least for a couple more years.
Yeah, I just don't see any route with the crew they have, even with what they have coming. So is there a way to if you can turn Skeens into like a James Wood, CJ Abrams type haul, like the Nationals got from the Padres just for 2 years of Juan Soto? Like, what could 5 years of Skeens get you back? Like, you might want to think about it, honestly. It doesn't have to be now, but like as he gets into those arbitration years, he starts getting more expensive. Some big team's going to want that guy, and the Dodgers, on top of having all of the players, they have the #1 farm system in baseball also. So, get Dalton Rushing from them, get Zahir Hope, some other prospects, and I don't know.
I feel like the Orioles, if are we serious, Baltimore?
I think they're very unserious. I don't.
Maybe
I
cash your chips for a Paul Skeens,
right?
I don't think they even have the hitters anymore. I think they had the prospective hitters, but man, I've explored Lodolo trades with the Orioles. I've talked to their front office, and then there's just not a lot. We can't get a matchup going there.
It just reminds again, you view all these things like through the lens of your own teams, but it just reminded me so much of that White Sox core for a couple years, like a little sexier version of that, probably. Just like, oh my God, we have all these pieces. I cannot believe they're about to all click at the same time. Oh God, I forgot about pitching. Shit. Oh God, I forgot about what if this guy doesn't hit? Well, oh God, now this guy's not hit, and it just slowly it just crumbles, man. Randy, it's a little bit. It just gets away from you.
It's like the whale.
It's like the whale. It just got away from me, man. I don't know.
It's the best part of being a fan of a small market team is it is the hope. It is like when the guys are young and they might be good.
Build.
Yeah, it's like the only hope. I mean, it never does build, but at least from my perspective.
Well, out west, we spoke on the Dodgers a little. The Dodgers are leading the NL West at the moment, a game up on the Padres, 4 games up on the Giants, 7.5 games up on the Diamondbacks, and 1,000,000 games up on the Rockies. I think we all know the Dodgers are good. I think we all expect the Dodgers to be there. So I'm going to ask about the Padres and Giants. Who's got more staying power, Solly, in your mind? Can either really threaten the Dodgers in the division?
No, to your last question, I don't think there's going to be any serious threat there. I think the Dodgers are going to try as hard as they need to in the regular season. I think they're truly like, let's get the home. Probably going to go for home field, but that's why we all picked them to go under 105 wins or whatever it was, because nobody actually does that. I think
so many.
They're just in this weird luxury of like it's almost hard for them to lose enough games to like not win the division. So I don't think they can challenge them in the division. Padres have scuffled a little bit. They had a hotter start than they looked really, really good to start the year. Tatis has come back down to earth.
Almost like a surprisingly hot start, right? Like you go into a division like that where it's like, all right, let's just, let's get that top wild card, man. Let's just holy shit, we're leading the division by like 3 games. Like, whoa, okay. It's almost like, especially we were talking about it on the season preview, I think, but it's like, oh man, if they don't get off to a hot start, like who knows? They got some finance stuff going on. They've got a lot of big contracts.
Deals,
like, is this going to be, are they going to be dealers? And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we just can't stop losing or can't stop winning, It's just kind of funny situation for my Padres.
I mean, they're just going to have to truly decide, like, are we in this, or are we going to get a return for Dylan Cease? He's at the end of a deal. And like, it's a pretty big decision. He's almost, he's got a 4.5 ERA so far this year in a pitcher's park. That's not great. It's greatly over his fielding independent pitching. And he's gotten quite unlucky to this point, but he can help you restock a little bit. You traded a lot of assets for Tanner Scott last year. He didn't help you win the series, and he went and signed with the Dodgers. That was tough. Like, that was really tough. So are you going to look, he's not Shohei Ohtani, but like the Angels wrote it out with Shohei Ohtani, and that was not the right move. So, and he's not the only piece. I do feel bad. I'm amazed at this. I'm just now getting word on this that despite having a high batting average, our guy Luis Arias has a -0.2 WAR. He is hitting 283 this year. Actually, his batting average is way down. But
which honestly makes me question WAR. Like, seriously,
why?
Oh my God. Well, I will say my guy's only hitting 283. It's
Oh, so
not.
that thing doesn't last forever. Interesting. Just slap hitting singles isn't the most
Oh,
reliable
I
thing
mean,
in
he's
history.
a career 320 hitter, so I would expect him to be much closer to that than 280 by the time the season ends. And I do want to shout out, he struck out 5 times this year in 230 plate appearances. He's
That's
truly
great.
a generational player. He's just stuck in the wrong generation. But I will choose to still celebrate him as a generational player.
Solly, that's the one that I don't totally understand why he's hitting second as well, instead of like
that would,
fifth.
if I cared about the Padres, I would get very upset about something like that as well. Fangraphs wrote a great article about like how if you're only hitting singles and you're not walking, you should not be at the top of lineups. Like, he is a very unique contact guy. Like, he should bat in the middle of the order.
Yeah.
Problem is, like, baseball fans just like don't, you want to make moves that are popular with your fan base, and like, that's just not how baseball fans tend to see the game as well, and would be quite confused. Is why I think managers like lead into making bad decisions like that. But no, he should not be hitting second in the order.
God,
Absolutely
especially
not.
with just Tatis, Jackson Merrill, Machado, all those guys in front of him in the lineup to get on base just makes no sense.
That's what would make this, like, so singles are not that valuable in baseball in general
Until
because
there's
you're
guys on
relying,
second and third.
exactly, because you're
Yeah, they
relying on
need the
somebody
big
else
hit. Am I
to
right?
fill in the gap.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but
Totally.
if you're putting him in a spot where, like, I hated when he came up to the plate against the Reds when there were guys on base. Like,
Yeah.
that was terrifying. But when there aren't guys on base, it's like, oh, throw him fastballs right down the middle. Worst you can do is get to first base.
Totally.
Gavin Sheets having a nice season out there in San Diego. I still do like the Padres as long as they want to keep that team intact. I like them more than the Giants to threaten the Dodgers. I just want to read that into the record.
I'm with you.
Depends what Adamas does, but
The
Well,
Diamondbacks,
before we skip past it, Big, you said something
Yeah.
while we were playing golf this past week on the Dylan Cease thing. To tie a bow on that just feels so like coming back to Chicago, just for
the
Cubs
Cubs.
instead
Yeah,
of the White
that's
Sox.
where he's for sure. I would bet money on that right now.
let's see if we
which
can predict that
bums me
trade.
out.
What would it take from the Cubs? We'll just pull a name. Cubs top prospects are Matt Shaw, Kevin Alcantara, Cade Horton. Let's call it Kevin Alcantara for Dylan Cease. We'll see if that happens.
There you go. You heard it here first. Must credit NLU.
I got to go to my trade value site to make sure that's a viable trade.
And I also want to say Luis Ariz is hitting 326 with runners in scoring position. OPS 815.
Taste that shit, Solly.
What am I tasting there?
Taste it, Solly.
The Diamondbacks, 86.5 was their over-under to start the year. We all were very bullish. We took the over. They are currently on pace to come comfortably under that number. Are we worried about what's going on out in Arizona? Are we just chalking it up to something else? Talk to me about where you guys are with the Diamondbacks at the moment.
Really fuego offense, and pitching's kind of let them down. It's probably as simplified as somebody who doesn't watch too many of their games can put it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a slow start, and they've lost 7 out of their last 10 as well.
They may have just lost their best starting pitcher for
Corbin Burns just elbow exploded.
Amount of time. That's tough.
Not gonna help.
That was.
I don't know what the D-backs have prospect wise, but it feels like they should explore a trade from. I think they got to give up a little offense to bolster that pitching. because as currently constructed, they feel a little dead in the water to me.
Let's check this out, Big. Top rated farm systems, Arizona is about 10th. Right? They've got one fair value. Jordan Lawler's considered their top prospect, and he's been kind of meh in his time in the big league so far. Yeah, it's the pitching. I don't know. Again, haven't watched enough of their games. It's just a really hard division. If you're not like really good, like your record's gonna reflect it. I mean, you got to go up against the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres as much as they have. And honestly, I haven't looked at this either. Like, I don't know how many times they've played the Rockies yet. Like, some of that can be a little out of balance if they haven't played many games against the Rockies, because that can change things very quickly. Because that's one of the worst teams ever been assembled. Might actually be the worst. Yeah. Looks like they still have 10 games remaining against the Rockies. So that's a legitimate factor in their record.
I would say to underscore it, it's like slugging 50% over, or 50 points over league average, and having a negative run differential kind of says it all.
I liked their rotation too.
I know
is the thing, but they're in a lot of high scoring games in there. When I would flip on games in the evening, it's just like, 8-7 against the Braves. It's 11-9 against the blah, blah, blah. It just big run environment out there. I still am fine with the over on them. Over 86.5. They're on pace for 83 as of this morning. I'm not ruling out the over on that one.
I think that's a Fangraphs projection, right? That's not
correct.
Like a true mathematical on
no,
pace.
No,
just
correct.
If people are wondering.
Yeah.
The Rockies have won 2 in a row. They're now 11-50. We don't have to spend much time there. But guys, you know what I do want to tell you? You know what I do want to tell you about? If you're going out to the ballpark, if you're going out on the golf course, the number one thing you can do for your skin's health is protect it from the sun. And what better way? Oars and Alps make sunscreen that you'll actually want to use, from clean ingredients you can feel good about putting on your skin. I will vouch for Oars and Alps. It's the sunscreen in my golf bag. I try to put it on every time I play, and it's a really nice product. The sunscreen, you won't smell like a pina colada after you put it on. It's lightweight. It's never greasy or sticky. It won't leave that white cast or residue. It's simple, fast, easy to use, and most are travel friendly, so you can keep them with you to reapply throughout the day. And they have lots of hands-free options too. They have sprays, they have mists, they have sticks. So whatever your preference is, they have the product for it. A quick sun care stats for men, especially you golfers. We're not wearing enough sunscreen, plain and simple, okay? And it affects your health. Only 1 in 7 wear sunscreen daily. That's male golfers. Golfers are 250% more likely to develop skin cancers. Skin cancer rates have risen 55% among men the past decade. And wearing sunscreen daily will reduce your risk of melanoma by 50%. So please, you can go to oarsandalps.com, OARSANDALPS, oarsandalps.com. They have a skin quiz. You can build your own kit. It's fantastic. I would recommend it for everybody. It's a great thing you can do to protect your health. Thank you to Oars and Alps for being a sponsor of the Trap Draw.
And Oars and Alps, if you're listening, can you send me some more? Because Randy used mine when we were in Milwaukee and just like emptied the fucking can.
Because I ran out of mine.
God.
I know, exactly.
I wonder how you ran out of yours. You're just dousing it all over yourself.
Well, I got a lot of skin, a lot of surface area. I apologize, Solly. I will make that up to you. Let's spin over to the American League, the AL East. Currently, the Yankees are up 6.5 games on both the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays, which is a bit surprising. The Red Sox are 10 games back. The Orioles are 14 games back. I feel like this is the Yankees division to win, guys. You can react to that, but I guess my question would be, between the Rays and the Blue Jays, the two current teams closest to the Yankees, do you like either of these clubs? I think these were teams at the beginning of the year we felt very meh on, and I know I was very down on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I think the Yankees division to win is a real giraffe take. Is how it feels. I think that one's not going to be particularly close. I feel quite good about Los Yankees. Solly's not going to want to hear it. I mean, they're a pretty good team, man. They're a pretty good team. pitch it. Like I drastically underestimated the Max Fried stuff. All kind of happened right in the shadow of the Juan Soto deal, and I don't know if people totally digested just how good he is and what an impact he was going to be. Carlos Rodon's been really good. I don't know. It's just a lot of pieces that are clicking. And they look really, really, really hard to beat.
They needed a lot of stuff to go right, and it has gone right. But at the same time, it still feels pretty sustainable-ish. Like it just doesn't. Like, all right, if Paul Goldschmidt still has stuff left, that's a different outlook.
Yeah.
He's in his late 30s. I don't feel bad about maybe predicting that wasn't the hottest signing.
Well, I ran across a tweet the other day. They were talking about, you take a look at Matt Carpenter's career and the year he spent in New York, he like inexplicably turned
I saw
into
that too.
one of the best hitters in baseball. We're seeing it now with Paul Goldschmidt. I talked about my cynicism with Aaron Judge. Solly, we might need you on the case to figure out we need to get to the bottom of what's going on in New York, in the Bronx.
I mean, you could obviously point to the ballpark having an effect on things, but a lot of stats like weighted runs created plus adjust for the ballpark effect of where you play. And if it still spits you back a really nice number, it's saying even despite being in an advantage ballpark, you're still performing really, really, really well. So hard to get, super nitpicky on that one. He's only got Goldschmidt's only got 6 home runs, and that's not a Yankee Stadium effect. I mean, a lot of other ballparks, he may even have had more. Like in Oakland, he would have had 9. So it's not even necessarily a ballpark effect for him. Some of these guys are hitting these little wall scrapers that are only out at Yankee Stadium. Jazz is quite guilty of that when he pimped one that barely got into the front row last night. But yeah, we can look into it, Randy. But I mean, the Yankees just might have a good hitting philosophy, good hitting coaches, good preparation, good pitch identification, good scouting reports on the opposing pitchers,
I
and
hate
hitting the
hearing that.
baseball.
I hate hearing that. We need to dig up some dirt. That's no
I
fun.
just Paul.
You gotta
my
You're telling me
department look
Paul
into it.
You gotta be
Goldschmidt's
cheating.
gonna?
Dude, do you
You're
have
telling me
any
Paul Goldschmidt's
idea?
gonna have the highest batting average of his career at age
No,
37, coming off
no.
of a 245 season last year in St. Louis? I just something stinks. Something stinks.
Well, I mean, but it's backed up by how hard he's hitting it, man. I mean, his expected WOBA is right there in line with his WOBA, which, look, I
Listen, if
can
you
get
can
my
line up your
department on it.
wobas,
I know.
you can cancel
I
Christmas.
don't have to tell you what that means. I can open this door. My department is just knees deep, up to their eyeballs in this Braves scandal still. So
I
if you
know.
want me
And
to
that's I
switch
feel
energy,
bad. Your staff is all overrun
I don't
with
have the
cases.
resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You don't have the resources.
Are we buying the Rays? The Rays have been playing really good baseball
No,
recently.
thanks. Next.
Do the Red Sox have a chance? Or are they dead in the water?
You
What
guys
a
should
disappointing team.
apologize to
Stink.
me. I think I was the only one waving the flag, and this team's probably gonna stink.
You were exactly right. I was wrong. Apologize. They stink. I'm out on the Red Sox. I thought I saw something, but they stink.
And it's more I do think it appears to be more of a pitching problem behind Garrett Crochet. They just are not getting anything.
Which was the problem to start the year too, and
I know.
it shouldn't have.
I thought
snuck
Walker
up on 'em.
Bueller would be good on a prove it year. Yeah, tough
I mean,
times in Boston.
most optimistic look is they're getting their expected WOBA is not lining up with their WOBA, Randy. They're hitting the ball harder than they're getting out production out of it. But Christian Campbell's fallen off pretty darn hard, which has been tough. Roman Anthony's just waiting there. I wouldn't be. They seem a trade away. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard some rumors about them shopping Jaron Duran a little bit, which would make sense to open up a pathway. Maybe trade him for a pitcher and open up a pathway for Roman Anthony. But they got Mayer up now. They have Christian Campbell's been up. But I don't know if he's going to stay up. He's been really, really bad. Pretty much the worst hitter in baseball since the start of May.
I think you mentioned Nick Lodolo could be a trade piece for the Reds. I think the Red Sox are a very interesting counterparty in a potential Nick Lodolo trade.
Who would you want him to spit back?
Well, I mean, shoot, one of those infielders.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're souring on Christian Campbell or
Just signed him to
Marcelo
an
Mayer.
8-year deal. I don't think they're going to be souring on.
They're
on
not
that
going to be
too quickly.
souring on him.
Where are you going to play one of those guys? I've looked into it. I've reached out to their front office too, and we've been unable to find a match. Wilyer Abreu might be the best one, but he's just another platoon outfielder that I don't think we need another one of those.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, listen, I would take Jaron Duran.
Sure.
Listen, I would as well.
If they want to trade him.
The
Orioles, we talked about the Orioles.
with your beloved Reds.
I think we would be a bit short if you're looking at baseball trade values, rough estimates on both players. We'd need to be splashed in the pot with another like Alfredo Duno or Rhett Lauder to get up on Jaron Duran's level, which is a lot less appealing.
Listen, we can talk. We'll keep the
we'll
line
talk.
open.
Well, we'll keep the line.
Yeah. Are they dissatisfied with Rafael Devers? I would happily take him off their hands. The Orioles are a hot mess. I don't know if you guys have anything to add there. We can keep moving.
We did call this one not to this level, though. I mean, gosh, they are one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do,
man?
I don't know.
Run differential's -89.
Oh my God.
That's just not it. It's not good.
Like most teams, you can kind of come up with an explanation of like what happened to this. I cannot like fully explain what happened to this team.
No, it just feels like contagious or something. It's very weird.
This would be another interesting Nick Lodolo trade partner or any kind of high upside pitcher, right? I mean, they just need pitching. They have negative WAR pitching as a team thus far in the season. It's horrible. They cannot. They're totally failing on that side of the baseball.
Oof. Tough.
So I think it'd be interesting. The problem is too, all these hot prospects have really cooled off. So your Heston, Jerstads, and Jackson Holliday's bounced back nicely, but Colby Mayo, like these guys, their value is not near what it was
right
a year and a half ago. So the
kind of
AL Central,
tough one when you just the deal just went through to buy the team as well. Kind of like, oh shit. Oh, what?
Did they was there an inspection before this purchase?
Exactly. Oh my God, I need a new AC? What?
Yeah.
How much is that going to cost?
How did that not get flagged? The owners of the third best run differential in baseball right now, the Detroit Tigers, lead the AL Central by 6 games over the Twins, 6.5 over the Guard Dogs, 7.5 over Kansas City, and 20.5 over Chicago White Sox. Solly, would you like to offer any type of apology to the fine people of Detroit?
No apology yet. I don't know what. I mean, I'm certainly. All I said was I don't know how fun this team is.
I don't know what my case is yet.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
A little bit of time.
I don't know what I would be apologizing for. They've certainly been better than anyone could have predicted. The run differential backs that up greatly. They've actually played a relatively hard schedule, somewhat surprisingly. I don't still quite understand exactly how they're doing it.
I think it's just a really solid team.
Yeah. Pitching's been
they probably have the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
And they got some guys behind them. The bullpen's been, good enough.
Yeah, they're so many bats, just absolutely mashing. They must have had some great health to this point. I mean, they're just getting production from every corner of the diamond right now. They've got like, geez, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 guys batting better. Like their whole entire lineup is better than league average, which there's not a bad team in baseball if you can get that many good bats in your lineup.
Yeah.
Plus, tag that on with Skubal, and still got some upside with Jackson Jobe and some of their other pieces. Flaherty, Casey Mize, Reese Olson. Might just be a really good team. Maybe I don't really know what I'm apologizing for, but I might be a believer that this is just a really good team.
Okay, that's fair.
The triumvirate from Torkelson, got to credit Patty on that one.
Yeah, Patty was all over that one.
The triumvirate of teams, Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City, they're all bunched up chasing Detroit. DJ, how would you power rank those teams real quick? Who do you like the most?
I hate the Twins, so even though they're probably the best on paper.
Well, you guys apologize for the Twins.
I'm not ready to apologize. I still do not like them.
I would say
you said you hated them.
Oh my God,
them in the preview.
Hate that lineup.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Still hate it.
Let me just read the names. Let me. How does this find you, DJ?
What?
Ryan Jeffers, Ty France. God, he was so bad in Cincinnati last year. The ghost of Carlos Correa, Brooks Lee, Harrison Bader. I can't tell you how bad he was in Cincinnati. Byron Buxton,
Mashing.
Matt
Byron
Wallner,
Buxton's cool.
Trevor
I
Larnach. Like
Mashing.
it's not a serious ball club.
Those guys are all, you just named like 8 guys that are mashing the shit out of it. They picked up Cody Clemens. He's mashing the ball as well.
I think the Twins are trying to do this little spreadsheet baseball thing, and I'm not here for it. Now their pitching is pretty good. I will.
They
give
won
them
like
that.
75 games in a row. They're 6 games above 500 now. They've been, if it weren't for their bad start, they'd be one of the best teams in baseball. So you better get used to them. This team's sticking around, Randy.
I'm gonna say my power rankings: Cleveland number 1, Minnesota number 2, Kansas City number 3.
I think I agree with that.
My beloved Royals, unfortunately, are gonna take the basement spot.
I'll flip. The Twins are definitely above Cleveland for me, and the Royals would definitely be the basement spot of that one. Jonathan India has not worked out very well for the Royals.
No.
Yeah.
They
stinks.
still just don't. And Bobby Witt has
not there. Pitching regressed. I think it's
yeah.
Wanted the Royals.
Bobby Witt has regressed.
Wanted the Royals to be good.
Bubic has been unbelievable.
Yeah,
but yeah, Bobby Witt. We called that out in the preview. It was like, if Bobby Witt's not like a 10-win player, which is ridiculous expectation to put on anybody, then this team's probably in trouble. And I think they're in a little bit of trouble.
And it can't be over. Like, Sal Perez had such a good year last year. Like, that was never gonna. Like, that was, I think, his last career year. So, anyway, White Sox, yeah, whatever. AL West.
Hit you with this one on the White Sox. Luis Robert, big trade piece. You know, it's just the absolute diamond of a trade piece. Is OPS +ing 58 right now. Tough.
It might have
Solid. That's
kind of tough when
well
even your
your
magic beans are starting to spoil in the cupboard. That's not a
what are they going to do? He's got 2 club options that looked like one of the best deals in baseball as of a couple years ago. And now it's like, do you just let him go?
Oof. Don't know.
I still, if I was the Reds, I would give up someone of note to get him. Like, just change the scenery candidate. Has to be. Like, dude, that has to be the worst franchise to be a part of. Like, it's hard to explain how bad they're.
The crown, man.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking like actual like game preparation and analytics and all the stuff that modern major leaguers need to have. Like, nobody does it worse than the White Sox. And
like, remind me of your office whose cases are stacking up. Just don't have the resources. We're playing a game every fucking day. Are you kidding me? I don't have time to turn another scouting report. I have one guy here, man. What do you mean? I don't know who's pitching. I don't know. That guy, he used to be pretty good. I think he throws a lot of sinkers. I don't know. Get in there. Make it happen. Put the bat on the ball.
Big hit.
See the ball, hit the ball. All right, finally, out west, AL West, we have the Astros currently a half game up on Seattle, 4.5 games up on the Rangers, 5 games up on the Angels, 11 games up on the A's, sadly. I think 2 pertinent questions here. The Angels, I have no faith in. I'm not sure if anybody wants to make a pro Angels case, but Deej, I think we need to strongly consider what we did when we allowed Solly to come over on our A side. I'm seeing here that the A's are 7-24 since we recorded the last pod in Northern Ireland, where Solly begged to be a part of this A's fandom. I think we should strongly consider. I think that was a mistake.
This was the Rory Cummins tweets of baseball predictions here.
Cooler.
Rory just comes in and bogeys his next 3. It's our beautiful boys are just, the magic is run out big. I'm getting emails from people asking for apologies for the A's. I'm getting emails from people asking for apologies for the Mariners. That'll never happen. I don't know. This whole division, I've kind of just been sweeping that one in the closet and pretending, just trying not to look at it for right now.
The A's are getting rocked.
You guys, I did talk like they're out of them winning the division on the last pod. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan since birth, obviously, of this franchise. But I was like, guys, let's be honest about this pitching. Like, it's horrible. We know that. It's just the lineup is fun. I thought we were all in on the joke together. Like, I didn't think we actually thought this team was a real contender.
Contender to hit the over. That was all
Yeah,
all
I
we were
still think they
riding.
can hit the over. I think they
That's
can
what
hit
it's
the over.
always been about.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
then,
mean, this last couple weeks hasn't really helped our case
It's
here.
not help, but let it get hot in Sacramento this summer. Ball's gonna be flying. Nick
Sure.
Kurtz is gonna be just slugging it out there. Rooker's gonna hit 40 bombs. Like, give him a chance to get to summer.
I mean, we were 20-16 when we recorded in Northern Ireland. Why couldn't we dream about the division?
Exactly.
Because of the reasons I listed when we recorded that, Big.
God, it's so tough. I do love the offense. It's a fun offense. Any AL West, I think that's probably good. Those are your standings.
You got to shout out Cal Raleigh's a stud. Like you got to tip your cap for 23 home runs. I'm just hearing. He's a fun player to watch. Julio's bouncing back a little bit, which is good. Still playing exceptional defense. I don't know, man. The Mariners they're super weird. I can't get down with them, but
they're so much better than they have been.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Something changed there. I mean, there was like, I don't know if they changed anything with the batter's eye, but they could not hit in this ballpark last year. And now the same guys are like hitting the baseball very, very, very well. Despite the park factor still maintaining the same. Like they actually have a real home field advantage now. Granted, they're only 16-15 at home as I go to say that, but it is, I feel a little different about the Mariners than I did going into the season, which I said I hated them.
That's as much of an apology as you're going to get, I think.
Sure. And I also said the Rangers and the Astros would win the division. I will remove the Rangers from that one because that is a team that they just stink, and I don't think they're coming back from. And Randy, I'd like to shout out, you called out Marcus Semien stinking, and that was exactly spot on.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right, let's go to a new little section. Guys, anybody that you fundamentally changed your opinion on over these last 2 months? It could be a higher or lower. DJ, just because I see you've added it to our agenda, thank you. Let me start with you. Who do you feel very strongly differently about in a good respect?
And I was just clear. I put this in there because I was trying to frame it as in not just like a hot start, but somebody that you're like, okay, that guy is this,
Like
and
true talent level, right?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
yeah, Randy, you're not going to want to hear this, but it's PCA for sure.
That's my first as well.
He came into the sea. I'm like, this guy, the scrawny little guy. This guy sucks. Get him out. He's running on the field. He's a little twerp. And I'm like, no, he's really good. Unfortunately, you just cut the exact like design in an AI laboratory type of player that I'm just like, if I was a Cubs fan, I would have 15 of his jerseys, and I'm not a Cubs fan, and I'm like, I don't want to watch any player in Major League Baseball less than this guy, and that's the ultimate compliment, I think. So, anything to add there?
No, I did the hedge of happiness thing and drafted him late in fantasy, and he's been like one of the best in baseball. And he just is a true Andrew Jones level freak in center field.
Yeah.
Like the balls he gets to and makes look easy. It is my guy, the warmonger on X, the everything app, is always all over the catch probability stuff that he just like makes routine catches. He stole one from the Reds the other night. It was a 10% catch probability, which is just like such a ridiculously good nobody catches a 1% catch probability. Like 10% is a wildly good play, and he makes plays like that all the time. It's gross, and he steals bases, and he slugs the shit out of it. It's just really tough. He doesn't walk. That's the only downside, but he does so much stuff that he offsets all of it.
The only other one I wanted to shout out big, I put this one in there for you, Jacob Wilson from our beloved A's. If our guy Luis Ariz has fallen off, might be the new Luis Ariz. You know, he's hitting 355. He never strikes out. Like 15 strikeouts and 250 plate appearances. Average no bat speed whatsoever. He's just slapping it out, but you can't get him to swing and miss. And I love that. And I think it's worth shouting out, and it's going to be something I'm carrying with me for going forward. Is he a complete game-changing player? Possibly not. But is it sick when guys are just freaks at putting the bat on the ball? Yes, it is.
I love it.
I also this is so unfair to Jacob Wilson to compare him to Luis Ariz. Like
well, he does have
a lot more power.
Yeah.
A lot more, and he plays defense
at
a premium position. So like, let this be a lesson to you.
Just
this is what a valuable player looks like. Luis Ariz is not that.
That's true.
Solly, do you have somebody that you're
great answer, by the
super high on?
No, I mean that's a great answer because like he was not fully on my radar. But I had Pete Crow Armstrong and I had Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a 183 WRC plus, 26 bombs, again, in one of the most suppressing ballparks in baseball. He's on my team. I wake up to alerts every morning. It's like, Cal Raleigh hit a home run. It's like, oh no, he hit 2 last night. It's just, I don't know how long this can last. I don't know if he's destined for 50 bombs, but he might just be, because all the peripherals back it up. And I truly just like, okay, this is a different hitter than I think we understood.
I have one that I need to apologize to him because I'm not sure he's ever been a bad player, but I lost faith in him. I kind of wrote him off, and it's not just this year, but Francisco Lindor is really good. And I think I got stuck in like a few years ago, especially his first season in New York. I just kind of thought, he's not that good anymore. The batting average wasn't great. And this year he's having a fantastic year. He's hitting 284 at the moment. He's got a OPS well over 800, 14 home runs, 41 RBIs. Like he is a very good shortstop, a very good baseball player, and somebody that I've just kind of poo-pooed in my own mind. So I wanted to use this opportunity to shout out Francisco.
That's big of you.
That's so big of you.
Thank you, guys. Deej, take us on the opposite end. Anybody that you're like, yeah, no, this guy stinks.
I was so into Jerks and Profar on the Padres and all his antics and
Big Dick Rick.
Yeah, kind of getting the big kind of, and I think he was hitting that 5 hole, and he was just always kind of the guy that was like, all right, thank God we got through all the big oh fuck, this guy just hit a home run. Like one of those types of players, and it turns out maybe some of that might have been a little chemically assisted. So that suspension's a bummer. But I also threw Zach Gallen on there. I think he's always been in my head as somebody that's been like that guy is a stud frontline starter. He's a guy to like build your entire rotation around, and he just hasn't been that this year. He's walking everybody. I think he leads the National League in walks. ERA is up over 5. He's given up a bunch of home runs. And like when you get into the splits, he's just getting rocked early, which is the kind of thing that's like, man, you just can't put the team down that quick. And I think his ERA in the first inning and second inning both like well over 6. And it just hasn't been a good start to the year for him. So I don't know if that's, that's whatever, 12, 13 starts could certainly turn it around. I think he maybe is in a contract year. I got to remember where he's at. He's bumping up against the end of his deal. So I don't know if he's pressing a little too hard heading into free agency or what, but it's room to turn it around, but it's not, it has not been good. And that's a bummer because he's a guy I've always held in very high esteem.
Yeah, he is in a contract. He'll be a free agent at the end of this year. We talked about one of mine already, Luis Robert. He might just stink. I mean, if you could see that 38 home run season and talk yourself into it, then you look at all the ones that surround it. Like, he can't really stay healthy, and he doesn't walk. He does play a nice center field, but he might just be stinky. At the same time, I think I would still take a buy low, risk on him, but he might honestly just be really stinky. Christian Walker's decline has been unfortunately pretty real. I liked him filling in at first base over at the Astros, and that's not gone very well. So that's where I'm like, the Goldschmidt thing, man, it's just kind of wild in his late 30s, holding down first base in the big market like that was quite surprising. Honorable mention for Matt McClain here too. He just might not be that good, which is unfortunate. Strikeout rate's tough, and I can keep going. There's a lot of guys that I think have been quite stinky.
Well, let me throw in my guy. I thought he stunk, so it's not just these past 2 months, but I was also like, age 28, like surely we're going to see something soon. My guy, Ke'Bryan Hayes for the Pirates. I just don't think it can be overstated. The Pirates signed him to one of those long-term deals shortly after he debuted. 8 years, $70 million. He signed through 2029. There's a 2030 team option for him. And my guy currently is OPSing 556. That's an OPS plus of 57. This is on the heels last year. He had an OPS plus of 62. He's got a lifetime OPS plus of 88. Like a true just black hole, a true noodle bat. He can pick it. He can field it. But man, the Pirates, you want to talk about just things that have gone wrong for this franchise, that's an awful contract to give Ke'Bryan Hayes.
And it just makes them more gun shy to do that stuff, right? Like that's the hard part is when you do get one of those big long extensions at a team that very rarely gives them out and you miss one, it's just going to make everybody more gun shy and that stings.
Yeah. I can report Jackson Churio just hit a 2-run home
I was getting ready to put him in my stinky
That's
list.
interesting.
And he just hit a 2-run.
Speaking of just making a good bet on a long-term deal on a young man, a team that doesn't give many of them out. Interesting.
I mean, we'll see.
There was a Milwaukee local radio guy saying they should trade him. Did you guys just come across your desk? Our guy Dom had to put him in an absolute coffin, sarcophagus. Here on the radio, he said the Brewers should trade Jackson because he doesn't walk enough. He's got like 8 years left on his rookie deal. Better stats than Robin Yount in like every measurable category. It's good stuff.
Better stats than Robin Yount?
I
mean, I feel like our
yeah.
I mean, okay, that's one thing, but I feel like our preseason conversation on Jackson Churio is looking pretty prescient at this point. Like I don't think this guy's a superstar. Like he might be a nice player, but it's been a pretty serious regression for him.
We'll see. We
question marks in the field. That walk rate is unsustainable. I'm not saying I would trade him.
Also, they have like
a great contract.
No other bats on their team, and he's kind of the only guy that these teams need to like not throw to. You know, like I think there's a little bit of that in it too. Like he doesn't have a lot of other cast of characters around him. But let's see. When he gets hot, he gets hot. The walk thing is real. I don't know that that's necessarily enough to trade him with 8 years of control, but it is a real thing.
The Reds drawing dead. Should the Reds think about trading Ellie?
Where are you going to find someone who plays shortstop the way he does? That was a joke.
I'm not saying no, Randy. It doesn't need to be this year. Probably it would be into next year if it goes as poorly next year, but he's also been playing hurt all year. Like his speed is clearly down. And like he takes a ton. Like I give him credit, man. He takes a ton of pride in being in the lineup every single day with like Marte being out, CES always being out, McLean missing an entire season. Like Ellie's playing through some sort of leg injury. They've not disclosed what it is. Like it's been obvious since opening day, which has, caused a dip in a lot of his production. He's been great over the last month, but it's not been the leap we would have hoped for this year. But I don't think you ask a ridiculous question because, they had the shortstop assets to close that gap if they needed to, and they need more bats. They're gonna have to do it at some point. So it's interesting angle that I'm not prepared to talk about today.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
fair enough.
Again, I'm up to my eyeballs in this Braves thing.
Who's got a bad contract that we should examine?
We're fishing in the same pond here, Deej.
Are we? Yeah, I was the first thing that came to mind, and it pains me to say this, although I don't think any of us liked this at the time either. Is we're in year one of a 7-year, $182 million Willy Adames deal with the Giants, which I just don't know that that's. I don't know, man. $26 million a year for what they're getting doesn't feel great. WRC plus 76 right now. His defense has always been a little spotty, but that feels like it's down even worse than it was. Barrel rates down, max EVs down, OPS 613. I thought this was weird. Like I didn't realize how much of a reverse splits guy he was. Like he always hits right-handed pitching better than left-handed pitching. His OPS versus lefties this year is 343. As a right-handed hit, like power hitter, that's just pretty hard to do. I'm sure this is kind of a freak start to the season. It will get better than this, but is it going to get double this? Like probably not. And it's just that's a big long deal. So I don't know. I'm not loving that one right now for Los Giants. Push's Giants.
I think to be fair too, we all I think we're skeptical of that as soon as the ink was dry on it as well. It just
I think he will be better than he has been, but that's a reasonable deal. What if so you think that's a long deal, Deej? 7 years, 182? The deal I'm going to flag is double that length, okay? And it was just signed not that long ago. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signed a 14-year, $500 million contract before the season started, after the Blue Jays famously missed out on everybody they've tried to throw money at. Been a slowish start to the year. I mean, he's still, 136 WRC plus, but for somebody that doesn't play a valuable position and doesn't play it well, I don't think this is going to age that great. He is 26 years old.
And I'll say carries a lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
I like Vladdy, but that's a great flag there.
If we go to the last 4 seasons, 22 through 25, WRC pluses of 132, 118, 165, and 136. What stands out there? 165 is as a bit of an outlier. He had same thing in 2021 when he was 22 years old, but I would guess he's going to kind of settle in more at the level that he's at around now, and it's got 14 more years to go on a body that I don't think is going to age necessarily that great. Just that one. Now, they did structure it pretty interestingly. Like, he is paid $40 million next year and the following year, and basically the following year, then it goes to 38. It goes down as it ages, which is kind of the opposite of how a lot of teams have done it over the years. And it ends with, in 2039, he's owed $29.5 million, which might be like league average salary by then. Who knows? But it's just hard to imagine paying Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the year 2039. Like, he's not Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't know
right.
if I would have done this if I was the Blue Jays.
The other thing that's just funny, like, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know how this is going to impact everything, but I do know that with the impending lockout, is that just essentially going to add another year of kind of degradation to all of these contracts as well, right? Like, you're basically just like pausing all of these deals for a year, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, have we been overly
Meaning, like,
dramatic about?
he's
I don't know.
41
Yeah,
instead of
it doesn't
40
count as
at the end of the
they're
deal?
not getting paid.
I think
Or is it just like a lost year?
I think it's a lost year. I think it doesn't add another
Okay.
year on.
It
I think
doesn't
it's
pause
just
things. It just is like wipes out that.
And that
Yeah.
might depend on whether it's
Alright.
technically a lockout or a
Yeah,
strike.
true.
which
We'll
I
have to
don't.
dig
Yeah.
into that.
Last I'd heard, I don't think it's necessarily going to be like no baseball played in 2027. It's going to be a tough lockout and it's going to be gruesome, but I don't necessarily think they're going to miss as much baseball as I once thought. Coming from somebody smarter than myself.
Yeah.
Probably just a slow start, but Juan Soto's hitting 233 with an OPS just under 800.
I think this is where we get into those,
Are we
X
are we
slugging, X
chalking this
batting
up to
average, like, seems
coincidence?
like
Yeah.
some hard luck outs here in the first 60 games.
I also think my guy Juan Soto. Listen,
Uh-oh.
I'm a little bit of
I'd
a
say it.
sucker for conspiracy theories.
He's
Albert
older than you
Pujols.
think. He's older
Yeah, I
than you
think Juan
think.
might. I'd be nervous. I'd be a little nervous.
I'll yell out this door if you want me to redirect some of my resources. We could look into that too as well.
Drop Acuna. We're moving to Soto. DA wants us moving on Soto.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that one. Guys, one more ad read. This podcast, I want to shout out Whoop. This podcast is brought to you by Whoop, and the new Whoop is here. That's right. The Whoop 5.0 is here with a ton of new features to include a 14-day plus battery life. That is unbelievable. That makes 2 different Whoop options for you and 3 different members categories to choose from. We've all been wearing Whoop for a few years now, and we love it. You've probably seen it on the wrist or the bicep of one of your favorite pros. Now, we're not pros. Everybody knows that. But we're all using Whoop to help us hit our health goals, whether that's sleep, recovery, or fitness related all year long. And you can head to head to join.whoop.com/NLU, join.whoop.com/NLU to get started with Whoop on a free 1-month trial. That includes the hardware and a completely unlocked app experience. If you don't love it, you can send it back, no questions asked. And there's also a Whoop community group. So if you already have a Whoop, join our Whoop group with code COMM, COMM/NLU, COMM/NLU. Guys, I don't know about you. I am currently awaiting this new model Whoop I just created, and I think it's supposed to be delivered in the next couple days. I'm psyched. I I really get a lot of use out of mine. It's a daily thing for me, and I feel like the big thing I use it for is I try to get 10 plus strain as often as I can.
Always a good target. The sleep stuff's always great. Getting a little
Oh, it has
notification of
changed
like,
my life.
you need to be in bed by this time is truly a tiebreaker between like, should I just watch 6 more episodes of TV of some show I've watched 30 times, or maybe I should get a better night's sleep. It's just a
Yeah.
nice little reminder, a nudge.
I've hit the
Yeah.
pillow a couple times before 9 p.m. just to impress my Whoop. Now, I will say, don't need the notifications that I keep getting up a lot at night.
Hmm.
That's out of my control. Whoop, I don't need you to keep reminding me that. But listen, get to bed a little earlier and you make up for it. It's been good to have data on that.
Guys, I'd love to end this episode just quickly recapping our trip to Milwaukee recently. It involved baseball in a very awesome way. There will be a video coming in the next, I don't know, month. So we don't have a specific release date right now, but we filmed a Milwaukee city tour video. We played 3 rounds of golf. We went out to Loch LaBelle Golf Course. We went to Blue Mound Golf Club, and then we played Brown Deer Golf Course. We hit up a Brewers game. We got to run the sausage race. We got to have a ton of beers and brats around Milwaukee. We got to do a pontoon boat tour up the Milwaukee River out into Lake Michigan a little bit. It was just a wonderful 3 days. Solly, I'd love to ask you what was your experience with Milwaukee just as a city, and what from this trip did anything like really surprise you? That could be either on the good side or the bad side. Talk to me about your experience in Milwaukee.
I wouldn't say it was surprising. I'd spent some time up in Milwaukee when I used to live in Chicago. I had a client up there, and I would go up there, for work somewhat frequently. But it is just like it's kind of the best of a lot of worlds, and that like big cities can be a bit of a hassle, like just frustration in general. But this is just I don't want to call it a miniature city, but it's just a small big city. Like it's just medium-sized city, but it's got a major league. It's got an NBA team. It's got a major league baseball team. Like it just is like gives you the best of a lot of the big cities without a lot of the hassle in it. And it was just very interesting and not surprising, I guess, again, but just to experience, like, I'd never been to American Family Insurance Park, as you called it. I'd never been to that ballpark, but to experience like the Brewers culture was the first time I'd ever really done that. And just kind of like, I can see why DJ, if those are not familiar, abandoned his childhood favorite team and became a favorite of this team that's really good. I could see how that could happen, just getting swept up in that kind of experience in there. We had such a great trip, and it felt good to just wear some long sleeves and be out on the boat and enjoy some curds. God, we had so many curds. Some nice beers. The sausage race was, I mean, if you breeze past that, but if you're unfamiliar or don't keep up with our social media, like we literally were the sausages on the field at the Brewers Red Sox game. Like the 5 of us ran the race.
Well, I was gonna ask Deej, can you just color that in a little bit? Like
Yeah.
where the sausage race fits in amongst like Brewers fans and the ballpark experience.
Yeah, I've tried to like there's some people that I've tried to explain like what no laying up is, and every time we get to be like, oh my god, we're going to play like Shinnecock. They're like, oh wow, okay, cool. It's like, oh yeah, and then tomorrow we're getting to do the sausage race. It's like, holy shit. Stop the presses. This is the biggest news. I've never met somebody who's ever been able to do the sausage race. This is it's just everybody in the city knows exactly what it is. It's a highlight of the game. Middle of the 6th inning, you have the 5 racing sausages that come out of left field and line up, and everybody does a little dance, and then they wave it, and you run from basically like the visitors dugout to the home dugout. Usually someone trips and falls, or there's some sort of hijinks that ends up happening. Luckily for us, that wasn't really the case. But yeah, it's a big deal. And so to be able to do it, I mean, I truly, that's like Ben said it great. He's like, I had no idea that was on my bucket list, and it was, and we checked it off. And so unbelievable thank you to the Brewers for having us. It was so surreal. And I think
It was so fun.
the most surreal moment, like I kept joking about this, is like, because it's like a little hectic. You're trying to get from your seats, they're like, as soon as the 4th inning ends, start making moves. And so you're kind of hectic. You're running around, you're tiptoeing downstairs, you're running down the through the bowels of the stadium. You're trying to get these stupid sausage costumes on. You're getting ready to go, and then it's like, all right, we need to get everybody in position. And when the top of the sixth ends, we're gonna trot you guys out, and it's full go time. And we just ended up catching like the longest top of the sixth ever. It was
Yeah.
like a total pitcher's duel early in the game, and we're like, this is going way too fast. We're all like kind of nervous. Like, oh my God, it's already the top of the fourth. It's the bottom of the fourth. Okay, we gotta go. And we get to the behind the fence, and we're just like standing there waiting for the sixth inning to end. And it was just like it was like the longest inning I can remember. We're just standing there waiting, 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 waiting. Obviously felt much longer than it actually was, but just so surreal to like look over. I was joking with you guys, like our friend Steven Watson did it with us as well. And eventually you're kind of like just standing there waiting to go, and you look over, and you got these like little holes that you're looking out of, and Steven just kind of like walks up to me with the Italian sausage costume. I was like, yeah, so, like, what are you guys doing this weekend? And I'm like, I don't know if I can have, like, a normal conversation in the sausage costume. This is super weird. But it was great. We won't spoil anything. I will say that I did not win. I don't know if people can probably maybe would have placed some bets on that, but it's really funny, like, looking out you just have no periphery at all.
None.
0. So all you can see is just, like, directly in front of you. And so when the arms go down and the race starts, you take your first, like, 3 or 4 steps, and you're just like, "Holy shit, I'm winning. This is unbelievable. Like,
What are these guys doing
what
back
if I
there?
just gotta hold on?" And then it's just everybody just comes flying past you finally, and it was kinda like, "Okay, well, now, like, just don't get hurt." But you guys don't spoil any more of the race of who won or what happened or whatever, but I
No.
can report that I did not win.
Yeah. You were the Polish sausage. We will tell people I was the chorizo. Solid, you
Not
were the
only were you the chorizo,
bratwurst.
you said I think it was certified by the brewer staff, the tallest chorizo in the history of the race.
Like the looks I was getting from these people when I put the costume on, I truly felt like a freak.
You're
I
scraping
was
lights,
the
you're getting
top of my
your
the top of my
sombrero.
sombreros is bumping lights. People were panicking. It felt like people were panicking at a certain point. Like, how are we going to get this guy to the field? The thing that strikes me though about the race, once those doors did open and it was time, like everything just went so fast
Yeah.
Oh,
from
so fast.
jogging out to the starting line, quick introduction. I got such a kick out of I heard so many people being like, "Yeah, chorizo, let's go chorizo." I'm trying to like pump them up with my arms. And then yeah, the race starts and you do the race, but once you finish, they want you to just keep running off the field. The whole thing maybe is like what, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes at most.
At the absolute
Um
most, yeah.
just a whirlwind of an experience. But I am like Ben. Like I don't know if this was specifically on my bucket list, but I'm truly, truly so happy we got to do it.
Well, it's funny that it's by home plate. Like, the freeze race in Atlanta is like out of the way of all of the players getting on and off the field. Like, there are 9 players leaving the field and 9 players entering the field as we're going to do this. Like, it happens very, very quickly. And there's been collisions with players in the past. And like, you're just like, oh shit, there's Christian Campbell as you're running by. And some of the Brewers like hanging out the dugout. I can't believe we were on the field at a Major League Baseball game, running around in sausage costumes.
And we
Well,
got
what
some
a thrill to go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, and then we got some fireworks, our guy Yelly walking it off with a grand slam in extra
Granny.
innings. I mean, it was just that
Yeah, it
was
was a
a
good baseball game.
we should mention Lauren Coughlin threw out the first pitch because it was the same week as the US Women's Open. That was a thrill, so fun to see them and watch the game with them. She
I,
didn't
I
she
was
didn't
gonna
bounce
shout
it from
out
the top of the mound. She got it there. Nice pitch. Did I think better than Jordan Love, who was there the night before.
which is concerning
Yeah,
for my QB rankings. Yeah.
exactly.
Solly, I was gonna say thrill for us to see Deej utilize his hot dog club membership.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it was a total shock. It was a surprise. I couldn't wait to see the look on your can't wait to see the look on your face when I get my hot dog for free. Yeah, I mean, the hot dog was very much just okay. It was very much.
I think
I don't.
again, this is you're not
You're
intending this
obsessed with this
you're not
hat.
intending this as mean spirited, but you haven't been to a Major League Baseball game in like 12 years. I think you're ruining your bar for what these hot dogs are supposed to be has been totally outdated.
I wasn't expecting like something special. Just kind of expected like,
Did
oh
you
yeah,
dress your
that's a
dog up?
ballpark
How'd
though.
you dress your dog up?
Uh
See, now you're gonna get me canceled.
Go ahead, tell the people what do you put
I'm a
on it.
ketchup guy. I just like ketchup on
Oh,
my
I'm a
dog.
ketchup guy too, proudly.
I know
Even
you are.
even on brats. I don't really get down with
Yeah.
mustard, so people can cancel me if they want for that, but did you try any of the stadium sauce, the secret stadium sauce?
No, I didn't even know about
I think
this.
you'd like
Did you
that.
put a little diced onions on there?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not our
Well,
style.
yeah, I think the thing with the ballpark dogs, you gotta put some goodies on it to kinda
I
it's a very average hot dog wherever you
I
go. Like,
thought
let's
I thought Solly
be clear about that.
waded pretty astutely into a controversy that's been going on inside of the Brewers organization for quite a while, which was the switch from Usinger's brats to Johnsonville brats.
Of
I'm
course.
a Usinger's guy as well. I think the Johnsonville ones are totally fine, but not quite as good. I was glad we got you a Usinger's brat at the where's that Milwaukee Brat House, I think, downtown.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I thought those were tasty,
yeah, they're
man.
good, really
I
good.
love brats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard to beat, hard to beat. But a great couple days. We had some good golf, which was really fun. I feel like we got to see kind of the whole spectrum of Milwaukee golf. I mean, I think, Brown Deer Park is certainly the crown jewel of the county park system, and kind of the muni golf that we have. Loch LaBelle, probably among the better public kind of daily fee options. Really cool golf course with a lot of just very different than a lot of what you're going to see with some kind of zany greens and half par holes and stuff like you don't totally see in a lot of the parkland kind of muni stuff in Milwaukee. And then Brown Deer Park is like, or and then Blue Mound is probably my favorite course in the city. I've only played Milwaukee Country Club
Blue
once,
Mound
but
was cool.
Blue Mound is so hard to beat, and the changes that they've made there have just made it even better. The whole team there is awesome. I played with our friend Ryan Duffy, who was great. It was just just 3 really good days of golf. And we played, what, 54 holes, and we got 53 holes of rain-free golf, which was
Mm,
not what I was
no.
expecting. And granted, we made up for it all on that one hole that it did rain, I think, on Brown Deer Park, but a a a pretty great week for kinda late May, I would say.
Yeah. I was just gonna shout out too, we played Brown Deer with AJ Ellis, former major league catcher, Dodgers, Padres. That was what a guy he is.
Oh,
And I think
best.
maybe one of my biggest thrills was just playing toss with him in the parking lot before our round. But he was a good dude, and I don't wanna short shrift Dylan Block,
Of course.
who we played with at Loch LaBelle.
Yeah.
He was awesome as well. It did get me thinking, guys, like, DJ, I truly think Milwaukee Blue Mound is private, the other 2 are public. I really think Milwaukee's gotta be up there as one of the better baseball plus public golf destinations. Like, if anybody's looking to take a spring, summer vacation where you're tying in baseball and just really good accessible golf. I honestly I might put Milwaukee at the top of the list just with the way you can drive. You could get to Lawsonia for a round of golf. You could get to Sand Valley. You could get to Kohler. You could get to obviously Loch LaBelle and Brown Deer are 2 publics that we played.
Aaron Hills,
Aaron
we didn't
Hills.
mention
Aaron Hills,
Washington
yeah.
County right out there is really great. There's just yeah, man,
I
it's really
don't
hard
know
to
if
beat.
there's a better destination when you tie those 2 together, and the experience at AmFam Field was, the Brewers fans, it just everything was pleasant, man. It was really refreshing. The people love the Brewers, the people love going out to the baseball game. I just really enjoyed the people of Milwaukee too.
I think on your best cities, you know, question. I think the other thing worth shouting out is just how easy and accessible American Family Field is. Like it's very easy to get in and out. It's a very easy place to go get tickets and watch a game. It doesn't have to be like, we're going to a 6:40 game. We got to leave here at 2 o'clock type of feeling like it is with a lot of major cities with a ton of traffic. And so to that point, it's like, yeah, man, you can play golf, you can have lunch, and you can get to the game like pretty damn easily from a lot of different places. So yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of. It's a good question. I'm trying to think what else would be on that list. I mean, Boston would be really good. Some of the, George
Yeah,
Wright and some of
Boston.
the other like
Mhm.
cool municipal golf courses they have there. San Francisco would be a cool one.
Well, if you're a fan of like a big market team that tickets are hard to come by, and you can end up kind of people like will go and travel to another city to watch their team with cheaper tickets, better seats, and to experience food of a different culture and another outdoor activity. Like, it seems like Milwaukee would be a great candidate for all that stuff.
Totally. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys got to see it shine.
It's weird. It's like I hate the Brewers team as a team that, they whoop the shit out of us as Reds fans, and like they're a division rival, of course, but it's like really hard to hate anything about, like, I hate the Cubs whole aura. I hate the Cardinals whole aura. It's hard to hate anything beyond like just disliking, wanting the team to lose. With the culture of Brewers baseball was a big takeaway of mine, of like, fans are knowledgeable, reasonable, just normal people that support their club, and
And also like passionate. Like,
yeah,
people really want to see the Brewers win, which is
sure.
great.
Yeah.
It's a
But they're
great
not,
community
they're not going to
feel
be
to
like
the ballpark.
assholes.
Yeah, it just it all worked really well. It's not a fancy ballpark, extremely functional, as I believe how you described it, Randy, and it's a very nice experience. I could totally see myself getting caught up in it if I lived there.
Yeah, man, it's hard, like, having that, like, 12 minutes away, and tickets are very fairly priced, and I'm just like, "Man, this is."
And free hot dogs every time
Yeah,
you go.
$65 for all you can eat hot dogs. I mean, it's just like and then you throw in,
Will
like,
you
the
track how many dogs you throw down this
for
year?
sure.
I
Yeah.
want to get a dollar per
It
dog
is
rate.
tougher to, it's tougher, the little guy makes it a little tougher to get to some of these 6:40,
Sure.
7 o'clock games, but we're going again on Sunday, so we go see,
Nice.
my Brewers versus my Padres, which should be fun. But yeah, man, I haven't even really mentioned, like, the broadcast is really good too. I feel like people sleep on that, but BA, obviously, when he's in full swing, being on all the Brewers calls is great. Jeff Levering does an awesome job. And then, starting this year, obviously Euchre is not on the broadcast, but when he was, it was like it's pretty easy to listen to Bob Euchre on the radio as well. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a pretty good 360-degree experience, which was why it was so weird. I've talked about this, I know, but like, why it was so weird when I was like still watching the White Sox every night, and then I'd go to these games, and I'm like, I don't really know these players, I don't really care about any of these guys, and I'm like, that's not a very fun way to go to a game,
Right.
when you're just like kinda half in, half out. Like, I might as well just go all in.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us in your city. I think folks will really enjoy the video. We'll obviously be updating release schedule as that becomes crystallized. But boys, thank you for a wonderful Seamsters union. We got some hot takes that I think we're gonna have to keep checking in on here throughout the rest of the summer. Um,
Your
any
Cubs
parting thoughts?
your
Or
Cubs vitriol makes it more fun to watch the rest of the season, and that's, I think, the
yeah,
point of these
yeah.
podcasts is just, lay down some lines in the sand that give context and make things a little more fun.
I can report the Reds are down 5-1 in the bottom of the
Mhm.
sixth. So, Solly, all those stats you cited earlier about the Reds, it looks like today's not the day the worm's going to change on any of that, but we
Randy,
shall
when
see.
when somebody tells you who they are, believe
Believe
them.
them. Yeah. First time, right?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how Quinn Priester's just an absolute lockdown. I don't know how if don't hang your heads on this one, guys.
All right.
It's just
Well, we'll call it there. Thank you. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to our sponsors, ServPro, Oars and Alps, and Whoop. And we will be back in a few weeks here.
Cheers.
have
Cheers.
fun.